I know many of you have many niggling issues on your mind about the processes so far, as far as the parliamentary setting especially is concerned. But what should we know from the Electoral Commission? That's why I am here today. Gentlemen, thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you very much. And you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Doc, so I'll start with you. Ghanaians have been sitting on pins and needles about the 9 constituencies initially following December 7. And now 7 of them have been taken care of. It's just left with Domiko Abenya and Ablekuma North. But what is the grounding for the recollations that we've done so far? Let me start from there.
Thank you for this opportunity. And let me start by saying that our laws are very clear, starting from the Constitution, Article 45, which talks about the Electoral Commission conducting and supervising elections. And when you come to our CI 127, Regulation 43, it talks about how collation is done. And it's very clear that for collation to take place, each candidate is supposed to have 2 agents. Apart from the 2 agents, the candidates or the spouses of the candidates can also be around. The Commission has maintained that there is a clearly specified procedure in the law when it comes to collation. After the December 7th elections, you know, there was a concession by one of the presidential candidates. The Commission went ahead to also declare the winner of the presidential election. And in that particular declaration, if you will recall, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission made the point that there were about 9 constituencies in the presidential election which were outstanding. But if you should add the registered voters in all these constituencies to the person who placed second, it will still not be enough to change the outcome of the presidential election. So eventually, Mr. Mahama was declared as the president-elect. But when you look at some of the parliamentary constituencies, you take a case, for example, in Okankwe Central. Okankwe Central has 231 polling stations, inclusive of the special voting center. The declaration was done with only 210, meaning that there were about 31 polling station results outstanding. And the report that came to us from our district office was that they didn't follow proper procedure. They themselves admitted that they were cajoled into declaring the wrong person the winner when the process had not completed. So eventually for us as electoral committee...
What exactly transpired that made they themselves acknowledge?
No, they were saying there some people came around who forced them to declare the results. So if I've seen a footage from Joy News. In that particular footage, the one who did the declaration said, I'm using 110 out of the 141 polling station results, constituting 78%. And that footage is there, and I got it from Joy News. And clearly we don't do that. We don't declare. You only make that declaration when you have made a clear statement that if even the remaining polling station were added to the second person, it will still not make any difference.
Like we saw Jean Mensah do in the presidential.
In the presidential.
All right.
The same will apply to the Ablekuma North. Ablekuma North has 281 polling stations, and 219 were used to declare. So eventually 62 were left outstanding. So when the report came to the commission said, no, that is not the proper collation. So for both constituencies, we declared them having incomplete collation. So because they had incomplete collation, commission had to go back to the drawing board. And one of the things the commission has made very clear is that we've always maintained that in our democracy, the will of the people must prevail. And we saw the will of the people prevailing in the presidential. But in this parliamentary, they were about 12. I remember we had Akwatia, Suhum, Fantia Kwanov. We looked at all the issues. And we've been hearing people saying that, oh, in 2020, when it happened in Techiman South, we told the people, oh, if you weren't happy with it, go to court.
And I was just about to get there. Is there a difference?
No, this is significantly different.
What's the difference?
The difference in Techiman South in 2020, the returning officer, our district officers, gave us a report indicating that all the processes were followed. They followed the processes in its entirety. But in 2024, they didn't follow the processes. So the same person who declared the winner in Obuasi East. The same person said, no, the one I declared wasn't the winner. At knife point, I was compelled to declare the wrong person the winner. And the evidence on the collation sheet, very, very clear.
Do we have evidence to this threat? No, the threat with a knife or something of the sort.
No, at least if we don't have the knife, what we have is that the collation evidence is very, very clear.
Which is,
you saw one of the figures for one candidate being swapped for the other candidate. So different from what the collation was showing. So what the commission is doing is that we must maintain the credibility of our system. We don't want to set a dangerous precedent. Those days in my former life when I was teaching international politics, there is this theory called realism. They believe that might makes right. And we don't want that in our democracy. If we are not very careful, a time will come, Mr. Kakpo, you are a candidate. You are winning, but because somebody is stronger than you, the person will say, let's declare that person the winner. And what the Electoral Commission is saying is that let's make sure we follow the law. Let's do the right things. Once we do that and people are unhappy with the right things we have done, the legal processes are there. But we don't want a situation whereby an institution mandated to do the right thing, then we sit down and say, because it has been declared and we know clearly that the declaration didn't follow our procedure, we are not going to allow that to stay. So the commission took the decision, and if you ask me, I will say without any shadow of doubt that the commission has done the right thing. We will ensure that only those who have won are declared the winners.
Now, per the Constitution, and I don't know whether Dr. Sribokwiku would like to address this one, it is clear on what happens if any candidate.
When I started drinking warm water to help me lose weight, my friends laughed at me. But when they saw how fast I was changing, they started doing it themselves. You've probably heard that as you get older, your body will never be the same. You'll have to accept it's harder to lose the extra pounds around your waist, the shapeless baggy clothes and unflattering photos, and the aches and pains and tiredness all the time. But what if I told you that's not true at all? What if I told you that there's a simple drink you can make at home that can help lose weight in weeks without starving yourself or spending hours at the gym? Sounds too good to be true, right? That's what I thought too, until I saw my auntie at a family party. I didn't even recognize her at first until she came over to say hi. It was crazy. She was literally half the size from when I'd last seen her. I asked her what her secret was, and she told me about this bedtime brew that she'd seen on TV. She said it was a simple drink that she made every night, using ingredients that she found at her local grocery store.
At the parliamentary level has an issue with the results. They must go to the High Court. But in this instance, the Electoral Commission is saying, no, we had not completed our processes. Why is, again, I'll go back to what he's already made mention of. Techiman South is an example. Some would even say that, it was post the fact that we saw the surrounding issues. But why is it technically different? Why is the EC now deciding we have to recollate?
You see, there are two issues here. For the Techiman South, the commission declared the results. The commission accepted the results. So the commission has no doubt about the validity and non-controvertibility of the results. So the commission didn't have any issue at all. So it was rather the NDC who said the collation process did not complete. And the people submitted all the documents. The commission, at that time, I was the director for electoral services. We studied it and we didn't have any issue. So once we don't have an issue, how do we say that we are going to change it? But those that we are talking of, the people who did, our return officers, did the elections, did the collation, and they're saying that they were not allowed to go through the due process. So all those people that the people they declared were not the right owners. That to the extent that in one instance, 62 of the police institutions were not added at all. And you can imagine, 62%, that's about 32% of the total registered voters, right? So you cannot declare results to pick and choose. Because if you do that, the precedent we are going to set is that then next time you are enforcing the hand of the return officer. So if I want party A to win, then out of the numbers, I will select the figure that the person either want to win is on the high side, then I will declare the results.
But is this recollation grounded in law? To the extent that, I mean, people reference, is it 1996? Some people reference 2004. and make mention of it. Has the legislation not changed since that time?
No, in terms
because some make mention of the fact that back then recollation was allowed, but now it is not allowed. What are the technicalities?
I joined the commission in 95. We used CI 12 and 15 for the elections. Then in 2012 we used CI 72 and 75. Then 2020 we used 2016.
2016.
We used CI 91 and 94. And in all this, the difference were to do with the biometrics that were changing. It's not after that the process, they are the same.
So recollation has always been a part of the process.
Exactly so.
To what extent, with what has been done now, the recollation exercise,
so,
to what extent does the law allow
and even,
it?
I will not use the word recollation. I will use the word the completion of the process. Because if you are doing collation, madness, 62 of the police station, are we saying that those notes not being added? So once you are adding them, you are rather adding to complete the collation process.
So in some instances, we can call them recollation, but in places like Tema Central, then we can say it was a continuation of the collation process.
Of the process.
Because I think in Domiko Abinya, it was completed, wasn't it?
For Domiko Abinya was completed, but we noticed that there were 3 polling stations. We didn't have the evidence, and we are still engaging them. And Zakakwo, let me come back to what you were asking about the legal basis. Commission's position is that once what you have done did not follow the laid down procedure, then it means you didn't do the collation as stated in the law. So maybe for lack of a better word, recollation, but it's actually the completion of the collation exercise. And that's what we've done for Kankwe Central, we did for Tema Central and all the others. And we have Domiko Abinya and Ablikumanov being outstanding, which we are very hopeful that we'll get to work on them very, very soon.
In other words, for the collation, for you to accept that the results are kosher, so that then if there's any challenge, it will go to the High Court. These processes, you must be satisfied that the processes have been properly completed. And that is why you are maintaining your stance.
And that's why I said it's different from... In Techima 2020, the processes were followed and the commission received the outcome of the entire processes, and we could vouch for it. But this time, the same people who did it, the same returning officer who did it in Techima said, no. When I got to about 103 polling stations, then they compelled me to declare a winner out of over 240 polling stations. In Obuasi East, they said when I finished the work, the winner was this person, but some people were there and they compelled me to declare, and the evidence doesn't support that. So they reverted to the commission for the commission to do the writing. So for us, we don't have a problem with people going to court. But what we are saying is that we need to be able to vouch for the work we have done. Once we have done that and still you are aggrieved, the legal process are there. And when we go, just imagine the commission has gone to court and the judge will ask you, why did you allow your officers to declare the results minus 62 polling stations out of 281? Why did you allow the Okankwe Central for someone to declare the results based on 110 out of 22% of the polling stations were left out? And I think if I were a judge, I would even insult the Electoral Commission for allowing such a process in Ghana, a beacon of democracy.
Quickly, I'll come to you shortly, Doc, but quickly, in the case of Tema Central, you had 2 polling stations, 146 already seen through. It was left with 2 to be completed. And the NDC had issues with, I believe, the pink sheets. And then there was a concern raised. And so the declaration was made. But what was the critical issue there? Because I hear even the person doing the declaration, there were some issues there. What were the concerns of the Electoral Commission?
No, in Tema Central, the declaration wasn't done by the one we have accredited to do the declaration. And apart from that, those 2...
Who did the declaration? Just to clarify.
It was done by one of our officers, a district officer in the Tema area, but he wasn't accredited as the returning officer, neither was he appointed.
So in other words, that was invalid?
Oh, that was invalid. But apart from that, the core issue had to do with 2 polling stations were left out. And per the information from our district officer, those 2 polling stations would have changed the outcome. I think the NDC's concern was that those polling stations were not signed by the presiding officers. However, the agents of the 2 parties signed off on those pink sheets. And in our scheme, Even CI 127 regulation 48 is very clear. When those documents are not signed, it doesn't.
No one seems to know this, but Amazon actually has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every single month. And here's how you can get a cut of it. My name is Charlotte Mickelson, and we help everyday people grow their income with this one simple method. And we're pretty darn good at it. Our company, Publishing.com, was named the 19th fastest growing company in America. And the only reason we're so successful is because of the success that we've created for others. And I'll tell you why our method works so much better than anything else you might have tried. It's because starting a business is not the best way for regular people to make more money. And that's what everyone gets wrong. Starting and running a business is hard. It's expensive, it takes a long time, and it requires skills and experience that most people don't have. Instead, we help you plug into Amazon and the $500 billion a year business they've already built. Now, the way we do it is completely different from anything you've seen before. We don't show you how to
invalidate, and I believe the Supreme Court.
You say they are not signed, clarified by the presiding officer.
By the presiding officer, but
not dated, because
the
information we have is that it was not dated. The presiding officer hadn't signed it, and there were other deficiencies on that document.
Per the information available to the agents of the candidates signed.
Now I'm talking about the presiding.
No, the presiding officer not signing does not invalidate.
And that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying the agents. Yes. I think the NDC had 2 agents on that who had signed, and the MPP had also signed. But I've listened to the NDC side. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer makes mention of the fact that the presiding officer hadn't signed. There was no dating, among other deficiencies. And I'm saying all those other deficiencies
did not
per the law do not affect the result.
Yes. Clearly. So what we are saying is that you can't pick and choose that we are going to add this. Let's allow the process per what the law says. EC will do it, and if you have any issues with it. But this culture of going to compel an officer, this is something, and I know the media must be championing. It's unacceptable that you have a member of parliament, then you are cajoling a returning officer to declare. It's not done. We've come very far as a country, and we think that in the interest of our democracy, certain things must be clear. Let's allow the processes to work. And the EC is committed to ensuring that we do everything right. Once we go to court, then we can be in a position to defend the work we have done. Before
I come to you, again, I'm really sorry I have to hold you.
No, I'm okay.
Doc, if pink sheets are tampered with, would the EC know?
What we do is that the pink sheets, the EC keeps the original copy. We give photocopies to all the parties. So once you tamper with the photocopy we have given you, we will know. And we give the duplicates. It's not even photocopy, duplicates. So what it means is that the Tema incident, those original ones were sent to the EC by the two presiding officers. And when they were called, they alerted that they forgot to sign. But everything was intact. And you are dealing with a lot of. We had in this election, we had over almost 40,100 presiding officers. And when you have about 2 or 3 not signing, it doesn't invalidate anything. So we believe that the legal processes must be followed. Let's do the right thing as an institution. Our reputation as an institution, as a country, is on the line. And the Commission has maintained that it is not our job to make anyone a president. It is not our job to make anyone a member of parliament. We don't care who wins the presidency. We don't care who wins a parliamentary seat. Our job is to ensure that the processes are followed to the letter. Whoever the people of Ghana want to select as their president, they go ahead and do that. And I think the media, that's what you want. I see your program talking about maintaining right things in our country. And those are the things we must do. So I think all of us should discourage the practice whereby because someone is strong, then you go out there and change the will of the people. And I think it's not good.
All right. Let me come to you, Dr. Kweku. You have some add-ups, top-ups on these.
I was going to say 2 things. One, whatever we are talking about, we should be thinking of precedent. If you set a wrong precedent, that somebody can go to the polling station, picks and chooses what polling station should be added. Then the next time we don't even need to conduct the election. I will already sit down for the return officer to select, give figures. So let's do what can stand the test of time. If today it may not favor you, tomorrow it could be the other way around. But the right thing should always be done. 2, if like Doc said, Article 45 of the Constitution, Section C, it says that you are to conduct and supervise. So if I'm supervising you and I know you are doing the wrong thing, then I say that because you have already done it, I will allow you to go scot-free. Then what is the essence of my supervision? If you do, I know you have done the wrong thing, then I'm supposed to supervise you. But I say because you have already finished, I will not touch it. Then why am I supervising you? So you only supervise to ensure that the right things are done. We are sending a lot of people to the field. For this election, we send more than 200,000 people.
200,000.
So automatically, we don't expect everybody will do the right thing. So if the person did not sign, it does not invalidate the figures. It does not. Because, like I said again, other than that, the next time, the stronghold of the person that don't want to win, the presiding officers will be seen, don't sign them, so that we invalidate the results. Then where I am winning, they will sign and I will get it. So the supervision will mean that, correct?
All right. So you're worried about the precedents being set. But
Exactly.
quick question.
How to turn a chilly 50-degree room into a comfortable 73 degrees in 90 seconds. This jet engineer just discovered how to heat homes for almost zero cost, and it's slowly making traditional heaters obsolete. According to a 2023 energy report, electric baseboard heaters can raise your monthly electricity costs by up to 30% during winter due to inefficient energy use. That's because they rely on outdated technology that consumes more power and takes longer to heat your space. It wasn't until 2023 that this jet engineer developed a brilliant solution. A powerful space heater that can warm up a 900 square foot room from a chilly 50 degrees to a comfortable 73 degrees in seconds, and practically for free. He called it Ecowarm, a device that turbo heats rooms using only a fraction of the energy that electric baseboard heaters consume. Energy experts and budget-conscious homeowners are obsessed with Ecowarm for many reasons. Ecowarm uses the Bernoulli principle to create a continuous heat loop, recycling warmth, so that virtually no energy is wasted. In controlled tests, it heated rooms from 35 degrees to 75 degrees in just 2 minutes while using only 150 watts of power. During a live demonstration, Ecowarm heated a 900 square foot room from 50 degrees to a comfortable 73 degrees in under 90 seconds, consuming 90% less energy than regular home heaters. Its lightweight design makes it easy to move from room to room. It's incredibly easy to use. Simply plug it into any standard power outlet, set the desired temperature on the digital display, and it begins heating immediately. Ecowarm features an antimicrobial filter that captures 99.9% of airborne bacteria and mold spores, helping to maintain a clean and safe home during the winter months. Made with high-quality materials, it offers durability that lasts for years without any special maintenance required. And because it operates quietly at under 30 decibels, it won't disturb your daily activities or sleep. So if you want one, we've got a special announcement for you. Only the viewers of this video will receive a unique 50% discount on their Ecowarm heater today. That's 50% off, along with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So click the link below and visit the official website. And to distance Ecowarm from Temu and AliExpress knockoffs, this product isn't available in any retail stores or even on Amazon. It's available exclusively through this link, and this exclusive deal is only available for a limited time. The demand is skyrocketing, so act fast. Click the link below and claim your special offer. Time is ticking, so what are you waiting for? You're going to love it.
Thinking about going solar? Before you do, see what others paid for 3 to 10 kilowatt systems in your area and what you should pay based on recent installations near you. The SolarEstimate.org solar calculator is the only calculator that uses your roof measurements, local electric rates, and what other homeowners actually paid to generate an accurate cost and savings estimate that's customized for your home. In the past, to find out what solar cost, you had to get an installer around to your house to examine your roof in person. But not anymore. Our unique solar calculator starts by scanning your roof to design the ideal system. Using your monthly electricity bill, We can accurately determine how many panels you need to eliminate your bill and how much electricity your system will produce. We then use the actual cost from thousands of solar installations near you to calculate what you should pay for solar after all federal, state, and utility incentives. Now you know how much solar will actually cost. The next question is how quickly your system will pay for itself. Based on your monthly utility bill, how much electricity your system will produce, and your utilities pricing plans, we can accurately tell you how much you will reduce your monthly utility bill and how quickly your system will pay for itself. You can even compare zero-down finance with cash to see how this affects your payback time. No other solar calculator does all this. Now, if the returns from solar are better than other low-risk options like paying off your mortgage or...
The High Court gave permission for this collation to continue in 7 constituencies, but you've gone ahead with about 9 of them. What is going on?
I think for us, let me come in. We have always known that it's our mandate to do that. Our mandate, and you know,
but that is even being challenged now. It's been taken from the High Court to the Apex Court. You're aware of that?
I've not heard that, but let me make a point that we've always known that to challenge the process must be completed before you challenge it. And in this instance, all these processes have not been completed. But I want to put things in perspective. You know, in 2004, in that parliamentary presidential election, somebody was declared the winner. A wrong person was declared the winner in Pru constituency, in the Bono Ahafo region. The then chairman of the Electoral Commission was alerted. The recollation was done in the Sunyani, the regional capital, and the right person was declared the winner. So the Electoral Commission is not doing something which has not been done before. Even in the same 2004, in the presidential election, about 4 seats or so, Tolon, Yape Kusogo, Zabzugu,
totally.
And another constituency, the presidential results, they had to look at it again, because I think some results were declared for the then former President Mr. Kufuor. They had to go back and do the recollation of everything. So what the commission is doing is not something which has not been done before. What we are only saying is that we shouldn't allow injustice to prevail in our electoral democracy. Well, if we allow that, in 2020, you may end up losing. Then you organize people, let's go and declare the winner.
So that point is clear, but back to my question. You are given permission to go ahead with 7. Well, how about the extra 2?
No, I think I don't know the particular extra 2 you are referring to, but for some of them, collation had not, you know, in Sawam, for example, collation had not completed. In Sawam, and I think Techima, it may be one of the Hafwa, no, I think southeast or so. Collation have not been done at all. So for those ones, literally from a layman's perspective, you couldn't have taken even any legal action against them because the process had not. If they started, they were not. They were.
If it's Ahafwano, I think it's southwest or something.
And then to be Ahafwano southwest, yes.
Okay. So you're going ahead with the 9, and now it's left with Ablekuma North and Domiko-Abinya. What's happening to those processes?
No, the commission will get to the drawing board and still engage our officers, the returning officers, the district officers. You know, in Domiko-Abinya.
But at least in this instance, at least for Domiko-Abinya, it was declared.
It was declared.
For Akurugu?
Yes, it was declared. And we said there was a problem.
So is that not clear enough for the matter to proceed to court?
The commission is committed to doing what is right for God and for country. And for that one, we'll do it. So the evidence available, we'll look at it. Unlike the other ones, we don't know, we didn't know the winners. The counting continued and we were able to know the winners. But for this one, as you said, Madam Akurugu was declared. So what we are going to do, we look at the 3 polling states. We've requested our officers to bring us the evidence supporting that. Once we have those evidence, the commission will go ahead and do the needful. Because we are committed to ensuring that the right things are done. And that's what we are just doing.
So you're saying that as of now, you've still not looked at the evidence as far as...
Oh no, our people have fed us with a lot of information. The commission will meet over written. A decision will be taken as to when to have the returning officers meeting over the 2 constituencies so that we put everything. Well, you know, we need to gazette the results from the 2 polling stations. The others are in the process of being gazetted. So we are working on that.
Now, on that issue, we know the Kwashiman cluster of schools went up in flames. There were ballot boxes there and all of that. What happens to that constituency then?
No, that's why the commission is going to meet, and usually
because at least there too, I believe it was Irabna Obin who was declared the winner.
And she was declared with 77.9% of the polling stations. And now that's unacceptable. Right. It's not done.
And now the rest of the evidence is lost.
Yeah, so the last time they met, they were able to get, out of the 62 outstanding polling stations, they were able to get about 37 of them.
No, 25.
25. So meaning we have 37 outstanding.
Deficit.
Yeah. So
are you going to be able to retrieve that?
Oh yes, the commission is looking at all the options available. Once we look at all the options available, a determination will be made, then the process will continue.
See, all of us are aware that from the 2 political parties, they were saying that they were able to collate their result before 12 midnight on the 7th, right? Mean that all of them have the results. So the question I pose is, why are we here? Because if you have the results, I also have the results. Just a matter of...
I've actually asked them the same question, that if you have your set of results, bring them and let's reconcile. Why do you think it's difficult to bring their results so that you can reconcile?
Oh, they will be able to explain. So the most important thing is that because the results are already in, with time, the commission will be able to get all the results in either hard copy form or soft copy form. Once they get them and they are reliable, they will be used. But I want to add that, you see, the declaration is not just announcing the results. When you announce it, you put them on the summary of result sheet. When we do that, you transfer the results onto the rate of election. It is the rate of election that every elected person will hold when the person is being sworn in. So if I say that a couple has been elected and Dr. Bosman is the one holding the rate of election, it is Dr. Bosman who can be sworn in, not you. And in addition to that, the law said that after the rate of election, we should also gazette it. And the law said that it is after you have gazetted, 21 days after the gazetting, that's when somebody can challenge it at the court. Meaning that the law itself recognizes that the process, in the course of the process, certain corrections could be made. That's why it didn't say the minute you announce, you go to court. And there have been instances in Ghana here that some people have gone to court when the result has not been gazetted, and the court had thrown them away. Because the process has said that it is giving the commission the room to do the proper supervisory work, to be sure of the result being accurate, so that if you are gazetting, that's the last phase. And once you gazette it, there's no way you can go and record it.
Right. So there's also been the claim that after, for example, the likes of Irabna Obin, the likes of Faustina Kurugu were declared, gazetting didn't naturally follow, which should have been the process. Now, with these 7 that have now been determined over the weekend, are you going to go ahead and gazette them? How swiftly will the process be?
No, that we could gazette them even today as we are speaking.
What's the plan?
The commission is looking at all the options, so we could gazette them today.
But they are going to be gazetted definitely before January the 7th.
We have 274 out of 276. So the commission may decide to gazette the 274 today. Then subsequently we gazette the outstanding 2.
The NDC, fiercely disputes these results. And they say it's even interesting that out of these 9 that were being looked at, all 7 that you've done so far have been won. Hold for me. Have been won by the NPP. They say there's something fishy going on. There's some collusion with the New Patriotic Party and the Electoral Commission. And that's where the sticking point is, that they will not recognize these 7 members of parliament. Where does that leave us?
So Zakako, so are you trying to say NDC wanted us to say let's share 5-5 or 5-4? No, our job, as I made the point, that we don't care who wins the parliamentary in any particular constituency. We don't care who becomes president. We have a simple mandate: conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda. And the commission's objective is to ensure that at each constituency, presidential, the whole of Ghana as a constituency, the will of the people will prevail. Okankwe Central, we were left with 31 polling stations. We didn't know who was the winner. The collation was done in that room. So the evidence, all the evidence on the pink sheet, they were used. you mentioned in somewhere, I don't even know the difference, whether it was 200 or 300. They went there, they did the counting with the agents of the parties. They did the same for Obuasi had already been completed. For Anonof, Tepa had not been done. They did the counting in the presence of the media. So the commission is not thinking, oh, let's do so that this person, we cannot do that because the evidence is on the pink sheet. And my colleague asked something. The parties themselves, they told us before the elections that by 12 midnight they would have gotten their results. So all what the EC has declared, I will say without any shadow of doubt that the parties have the same information. But they won't come and tell you. For example, where they are saying they don't have the pin sheets and others, they won't come and tell you. So we know that.
Are you suggesting the NDC knows that it has lost in these constituencies, and it's merely giving you the EC a bad name to hang you? Is that what you're saying?
Based on what was declared, they have that information. But that's why I say you, the media, these are things we, the EC, should not even be talking about. You, the media.
But that's precisely why we are here, so that this information.
Because I remember the last time when they declared the Okankwe Central, then one of your anchors was saying, "Oh, Okankwe Central too has done this," when you knew very well that the guy has said 78% of the results were used. And you have been in this business for a while.
And
go
I want
ahead.
to add that Electoral Commission is not an individual; it's an institution. And the integrity of the institution is always on the line whenever something is being done. Can you imagine that the Electoral Commission does something fishy, then the commission is taken to court? Then all these facts are brought bare to the commission, and the commission has to defend such things. How would the commission feel? And we are the very people who, so didn't they see it? Right? So you don't sit as a supervisor for the wrong thing to be done, and you keep quiet when you know that when it comes to the crime, you are the very one who is going to defend them. You are the very one. Because me, myself, I am a director. I cannot be sued. If you sue the commission, I will go and sleep. If the commission, who will go? Not me. That's all. I don't understand why Dr. Bosman knows that Sibo is doing the wrong thing. Then you keep quiet. Knowing that whatever I'm doing, he will be the one who will go and explain.
Two quick things come up, especially as you talk about illegalities or maybe any underhand dealings. Two of the central constituencies, I'm talking about Okankwe Central and Tema Central. Now, the assertion is that some of those who served variously as whether presiding officers or returning officers, we have heard different pieces of information, were dyed-in-the-wool members of the New Patriotic Party. One of them is Francis Chum. I have seen a lot of information on him, his posts on social media, his open declaration of being a member of the New Patriotic Party. And then there is also, in fact, when it comes to Francis Chum, his posts date very far back, and I have a tall list of them here. Do you know what role specifically, even before I go to the Okankwe Central one, do you know the role Francis Chum played in the Tema Central vote? What exactly was he? And when was his appointment made? Because it has also been called into question. There are claims that on Saturday, right on Saturday, some of those appointments were made. What's the structure? What's the system?
I think let me start by saying that the officers we appoint as, those we appoint as returning officers and deputies, when we do the appointment, we give their names to the political parties. And when we give their names to the political parties, the parties are given the opportunity to object, to say that this person, we know him to be a member of Party A or Party B.
But what if it's an oversight? And looking at the number of people, the parties may not readily be able to
if the parties
detect
say that. If the parties say that, then they don't know their work very well. Because it's each constituency. We appoint three returning officers, a returning officer and two deputies for each constituency, and the parties also have the structures at the constituency level. So for the gentleman you mentioned his name, all those three people appointed, their names will be given to the party in that particular constituency. And when we did the appointment, I remember in the Ahafo region, Savannah, we had the parties coming out to say, oh, these people, we know them to be members of Party A, Party B. We received letters from the MPP as well as letters from the NDC. And all those names, when we did the investigations, they were removed from the list. So this Francis we are talking about, we haven't received any adverse reports on him. It's not someone I know.
What are the structures like in terms of checking for some of these entities to ensure that they are not aligned?
We do a background check.
What processes?
We do a background check of all of them, and we get reports from our district. And to get additional evidence about their background, we give their names, their details to the parties. Even presiding officers and other polling assistants, their names are given to the political party. So we did all this. So if the parties didn't have any problems with it, we don't want after the fact, then you now come and say, oh, we believe this thing, this person was a member of Party A or Party B. And you also mentioned that if Francis was the one, Francis Chum, one of the deputy returning officers for Tema Central. And as a deputy returning officer, they assist the returning officers in the performance of their functions. So anytime the returning officer will be incapacitated, these are the people who take over the work. So he hasn't done anything unlawful as far as the Electoral Commission is concerned.
In the instance of
and they were
Harrison,
they were recruited about 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
It cannot be that they were recruited only once.
It's even more than 3 months now.
They were recruited over 3 months ago.
Yes, somewhere in August or September.
I think first week of September.
First week of September.
So you can guarantee that none of these people who played whatever roles at that level in the elections were recruited in recent times. Let's say even within the last month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
No. All of them, they were. I think we had one constituency where either the returning officer died. I think 2 weeks or so to the election.
That was in the northern region.
In the northern region, I think either Gushegu or Kara, one of them. Then we had to appoint another person. The person died. We even met him. Apart from that, we haven't appointed any new person.
What does CI 127 say about these assistants to the returning officer? Let's clarify that. Doc, would you like to say that?
The law says that there shall be a returning officer, and the commission shall appoint assistants as they may determine. So two assistants are appointed, but they are labeled as deputy returning officers. So the three of them will do the work. They are responsible for compilation of transfer lists,
distribution,
distribution, recruitment and training of the other officials and what have you. So they will do all these things as a team, meaning that whenever any of them is not available, the other two will continue with the job.
Okay, and so far it's been a returning officer and two other assistants.
Two deputies.
Then this year,
what's the proper term for them? Is it assistant or deputy?
Deputy returning officers.
And this year we also recruited one collation officer for the constituency.
And you are the deputy return. Well, the way our work is such that you look at an area, then you try to get. The area is usually divided into three. So for this particular zone, you need somebody who is very, very familiar with that area. Then another person familiar with another area. Then they work together. So all of them were employed, I think, first week in September, right?
Yes, I think so. And these processes have been there since 1992. They are not new things.
Because of some of these matters arising, even before I go to Harrison Ejakwa's issue, do you think then that there should be an extra layer, whether it's in altering the CI or passing further legislation on these political parties, at least those who have shown to be highly political, engaging in the electoral processes at that level, whether as returning officers, presiding officers or something? Do you think that extra layer is needed, especially now that, because you get what the problem is, some may filter through, and one side may see that, oh, we didn't realize this, but it's a problem. How come someone who is this prominent for this side is able to get through? How then can we streamline?
As my colleague mentioned, we employed almost 210,000 people for these elections. And, presiding officers, we had over 40,938 or so polling stations, inclusive of the special voting center. So times 5. So you are looking at way over 200,000. We do advertise, and when we advertise, people apply. And when they apply and we finish everything, we give the names for us to be able to vouch for the neutrality of this particular individual. We interview them. Return officers, for example, we went to the regions, we interviewed them. When we finish, we share the names with the political parties for them to know all those who will be working on the elections. Apart from that, collation officers, technicians, all of them. So when we give to the parties, what the Electoral Commission is saying is that we may not know everything about these individuals. So check with your constituents or your supporters to find out whether they have any information about this particular person. And we did that.
But could there be an extra layer to enhance, to strengthen the system even further?
Extra layer like what?
What we have now,
I am saying that if there are problems still that are arising from this, because even the political parties, then what it means is that while this may have come to the fore, where the NDC is saying this, there could even be some of those officers that the NPP would have contested that slipped through the nets that they also don't know. How do we forestall the problem? That's all I'm asking.
But let me say, you can do everything you want to do, definitely with the numbers involved. You may have 1 or 2 people. But the point, what consoles us is that the structures we have put in place, they are such that, assuming you are a candidate, and we make you even the returning officer of that constituency, there is nothing you can do. That's how our processes are. There is nothing. The point is that the voting takes place at the polling station. And at that particular polling station, you have your agents over there. If you are one of the major parties, you have 2 agents, one for presidential, one for parliamentary. And the counting is done in the full glare of the public. So if even you belong to party A or party B and you come in, there is nothing you can do because of the structures we have put in place. And it's the reason why these things have happened, and they've come to us and we've noticed that no, the right procedures were not followed. And this is not even the Electoral Commission in Accra saying the right procedures were not followed. Our own people who did the work, Okankwe, the district, the return officers, they I said no. Said,
so your own people voluntarily came and said that
no, that's not what transpired.
What we did was not right. And we did this under duress.
And that you saw some on national TV. I watch your TV a lot. You saw a member of parliament forcing the people say this. And you call this a democracy, a proper declaration. This shouldn't be allowed. And these are the people you must call and shame that you can't do that. It's a disgrace to our democracy.
Let me add that. At the collation center, as the name is, you are only adding up the figures.
Yes.
And we believe that at least MPP and NDC will have finished with their collation because they can use WhatsApp resource
to do it.
But we will need to have the pin sheet and stuff. So we are of the view that even if you are a party person as a return officer, and the parties are also doing their work, you do your kululu thing there, the party will come with the facts. And as I said, whatever we have declared, we are expecting that those who don't understand will take the issue up to the court. It is left to the commission to go and defend whatever we have done. So if the party has also done their parallel collation, they will come with their figures, and the figures will show that we have done something which is untoward. Okay. So nobody in the commission, nobody will try to do anything that will mar the image of the commission.
Okay, so you have no worries about these processes going to the apex court or subsequently being dealt with legally because you have your collations done and you believe you've done the right thing. And the other side, they will also have their collation. So then the courts will determine what exactly happened. In the case of Harrison Ejakwa, I am told...
For which constituency?
Okankwe Central.
Okankwe Central.
I am told this person there was an inquiry. Again, I am unsure for him whether he was a returning officer or a presiding officer. I think it may have been a returning officer. That they asked him about his approvals or something of the sort, and he showed them an image on his phone. And it was dated that very day. I'm talking about last Saturday. That's why I was posing the question about when you appointed these
so he was given appointment that Saturday.
There is some concern that has been raised on that, which is why I'm bringing it to you. You are saying that this is not a possibility, right?
You know, all of them, all those who did the work, they were either returning officers or deputy returning officers. Right. I don't know if you are trying to say somebody was given elected to act as the returning officer.
Perhaps that could have been it.
Oh, no, we will check. But that should not be out of place because the person is already part of the team. All the 3. My colleague mentioned...
What if this person was not one of the 3?
No, definitely will be one of the 3. The only instance where we have the person not part of the 3 was, I think, in Savannah region, where the regional director was mandated by the commission to carry on with the work. In the, I think, Damongo constituency. But apart from that, all those who have worked on the declarations, the recollation, collation, they are all people we have employed as return officers or deputy return officers.
But the question
In
is-
that last instance, just a second. In that last instance you just mentioned, where someone else who wasn't a member of the three was asked to play the role, is that sanctioned? Is that legal?
Oh, yeah, it's legal.
The appointment was made by the EC.
The EC made that appointment because the report that came was that the return officer was incapacitated. The deputies, because of what had transpired, they were not in the position to do one. And no, our work, the process must continue.
All right, you are about to make a point.
Whatever I will say is precedent. See, we should be careful. 3 issues do not happen in 2028. 1, if our people are going to be traumatized as it is, which people are we going to? They are volunteers. Which people are we going to use for 2028? And the more you scare competent people, the more you get the chaff. 2, all the collation centers are not electoral commission facilities. And some are being bent, some are being destroyed. Will people volunteer their premises for them to be used as collation centers? Some vehicles that we commandeered were bent. And for this election...
Our offices were bent.
I'm talking even the vehicles. For the districts that used the least number of commandeered vehicles used 10. Plus the commissions 111. Now, if I will give my vehicle for you, you will not pay, and the vehicle will be bent. Would I give them out? So that's the second point. Then the third point is, if these things are allowed to fester, then what will happen is that in 2028, there should be no election. 2028. No, there should be no election. So the strongest will now declare themselves the winner. Is that what we are looking for? So in everything that we are doing, everybody, BBU, MPP, NDC, media, we should all be interested in establishing the truth and the true reflection of the decision of the voters.
All right. Now, so this Harrison Ejakwa, just to wrap up on that point, are you aware of the situation, or it's something you have to check?
No, I know if he was the one who did the declaration, then he was one of the deputy returning officers.
Do you then give an appointment? I mean, can it be done?
Oh no,
it
could be given us to be the acting returning just to do the work.
But was he given the letter there?
That's what I'm saying. I need to check, but that's not out of place.
Because the claim is that, for example, he showed it to them on a phone that this is my appointment letter, and it was dated that day, that very day.
Once a deputy returning officer, he is qualified to do it, and when you give a letter just to show that returning, there's nothing wrong with that.
But you cannot here now confirm or deny.
Oh no, I've not seen the letter you are talking about. I need to see it to be able to confirm. Right. But I wanted to make a point. Now, you know, these incidents that have happened, the challenge for us now is that the people we are going to get to work as returning officers for us in 2028. My colleague was trying to highlight on that. When I'm on some of their platforms, people are even talking about now they have to even arm themselves.
Arm themselves?
Yes. Because they are being threatened. They are talking, people are even, this volunteer work you are doing for your country, then people will beat you up. And it's not good. So it's the reason why the media must support the Electoral Commission. Let's do the right thing. Because all of us want that. We want to live in a very peaceful environment. We want to live in a very developed society. And these things that are happening, I don't know where you were in 1996. We didn't see this even in 1996. Did you hear in 2000 some people had not won certain constituencies and they went there, they forced to declare. And this is 2024. This shouldn't be happening in a country when you are talking about the best democracies in our continent. Ghana is one of them. Although I strongly believe that we are not a fully democratic country. But we are up there.
Why do you say that?
Oh, I think we are a democratizing country. We are in the process.
Okay.
And we are in the process. We haven't gotten to where you can say fully fledged, and we need civil society, religious leaders, all of us must be committed to the right thing, and that's what the Electoral Commission is doing. We don't care who becomes president, we don't care who becomes member of parliament for Okankwe Central. We don't care about that. What we care about is that let's follow the processes so that the will of the Ghanaian people will be reflected. And as a religious person, personally, I believe that if we don't work for the truth, we may end up, we will not get anywhere in this country.
I have a few quick questions for you two, and then it will be a wrap. But Based on this, now you're suggesting that some of your returning officers are even forecasting that they may have to arm themselves.
Or they won't do their work again.
I don't know how legal that would be in terms of being at a polling station
they will tell
and
you that
arming yourself, because anything could happen.
They were there, police officers were there, and people were beating them in the presence of security.
Right.
And police officers at the collation, they were not even armed. And you have civilians who were armed coming to the collation center. And those are the things the media, if I have a problem, you are the ones who must talk about this.
Right.
Because it's unacceptable.
Right. Do you think we should get to the point where maybe political party affiliates or voters cannot come to centers where collation is being done? I saw the police trying to mount barricades in some places and all of that. Do you think we should get to the point where it is illegal to come to these points? But then
it is.
The other point would be that, has our process become transparent enough so that people can vote and then go and sleep at home and say that I don't care because no one can manipulate my vote in any way? I don't know how you'll address these, but
I teach elections at Kofi Annan, and I go to other countries to teach elections, especially African countries. The way the African countries value, respect the electoral system in Ghana, it becomes very embarrassing for us to finish elections. That all the observing institutions and were giving us high marks. Then before they will leave, these things are happening. That, as Dr. Moore said, if in 1992, I don't think we went through this.
The point is made, but let's tackle those two issues.
The two issues, I think, Doc, let me say that
what is the reality on the ground? Because when I spoke about maybe preventing people, once you vote, don't go to any collation.
It is in the law.
I saw you nodding and all of that.
It is in the law.
That's what is in the law.
The law,
only the agents.
The law has established that it is the candidate and his or her spouse.
Right.
Then accredited party
agents.
But over time, we have allowed this practice where people mass up. And and it didn't start today. That is why I am highlighting
illegitimate encroachment. They are not
allowed. Only observers and media people.
They are not. Even the media, you should be accredited. Yeah. So anybody who is not captured by the law,
you are not supposed to
illegitimately. So it's not an issue.
So why then is it allowed?
No, I think the issue would be with respect to security, because the security will have to reinforce the law. So that if you are not qualified, you should not be allowed to be there. Other than that, you can put a lot of things in the law. You need somebody to stand there and say you are not allowed, the enforcement, you are not allowed to enter. Other than that, then I get scared. Because where we are going, you will get to a time that you will see people, even when they come to greet you, run away because you don't know what they are coming to do. And we should all be concerned about this. But
I keep making this point, even as far back as I remember, even under Dr. Farijan, we're having instances like this.
Oh yeah, but
and I keep saying that, and that's why I intentionally brought it up. If the law says one thing and we are not applying the law, what then does it mean for the future? The very things you say you are scared of are happening because we have all allowed those things to happen. And it's not just one side. Different sides have engaged.
And for the law to work, we need the political parties to also educate their people very well. All these things that are happening, I know for a fact that some of the supporters who are going there, they know what they are being told is the truth. They believe that what they are being told is the truth, but unfortunately, they are being misinformed. They are not being given the right information. And I think that we need our leaders, those who are leading our political parties, to be committed to doing the right thing. In a democracy, one of the key things that are very, very important is that there are certain basic principles. And those basic principles, regardless of where you belong across the aisle, or the party A or party B, or you are a media person, those basic principles are so fundamental that we shouldn't disagree over them. And I think that for the two main parties, they need to send that signal to themselves as individuals, as leaders of parties, and to their followers. Some things are so fundamental. You mentioned we've gotten to the point where you can vote and go and sleep. Nothing will happen because the counting will be done in the full glare. Your agents are there. We always encourage parties.
Dr. Sorry, are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure. Get agents who understand the process.
What if the agents are unavailable? The process can still go on without the agents. So if the agents are not available, and there's some sleight of hand, how will you be able to defend it?
Mr. Nana Kwame had over 80,000 votes in the presidential. I don't think Mr. Bediako had agents in all the polling stations. Our people who are presiding of the verification, we've trained them in such a way that if even a party doesn't bring an agent, your job is to protect the integrity of the Electoral Commission. So if even a party doesn't have an agent, make sure the interest of that party is protected. And that's the nature of our job. So we believe that we've gotten there, but we can't do it alone. We need the parties to educate their supporters. Because I know very well that the parties themselves, they know there is nothing the EC can do to determine that, who is the winner or that person is the winner.
That thinking has been countered. I don't know whether it's Stalin. It's been put out there that, voters don't determine elections.
But it's coming from Russia in the 19th, 20th century, you know what they will say.
But is it still not relevant?
It's not relevant.
In today's Africa,
no,
African countries.
In Ghana, at least I can speak for Ghana. In Ghana, South Africa, Namibia, I think Lesotho, Cape Verde. No, you can see clearly that the will of the people prevailing. And I think we've come very far. We want the support of all so that we can get to the promised land.
All right. And we're getting to the end of the conversation.
Election is a collective responsibility type of project.
Right.
The Electoral Commission provides the facilities. The media, you throw light on whatever is happening. And you were all over the place. That everywhere you wanted to restrict your numbers, you said no.
No.
So that is the essence of you.
In the end, we helped you get some very important things. You see now.
When you prevail, somebody declared parliamentary results with out of leaving 31 polling stations. We're expecting you to talk about it. That no, you can't do that in Ghana.
That is not our work. we don't. The aftermath of it we spoke of, but as for the declaration and whatever, that is up to you.
No, it's unacceptable. You declare polling results, then you left us.
But what followed from there, the reportage and everything, we've covered all of those things.
Then give that one the prominence as you gave the other one.
I was talking of. So I've mentioned the Electoral Commission, the media, the security is also supposed to protect anybody, any activity that is taking place. Then you have the judiciary. Whoever infringes on the law, the police will arrest, and those people will be properly prosecuted, right? The political parties are also supposed to play the game according to the rules. You don't want to be cheated, so don't also try to cheat
the system.
So if you all do these things the way it should be done, then why can't you go and sleep?
All right. So come January the 7th, when at the dawn of the 9th Parliament, when new members of Parliament are being sworn in and all of that, should there be any chaos, God forbid, you would have no hand in it. As far as, for example, Okaikwe Central, Tema Central, and any contestations. Because one side is adamant that we don't accept this recount, recollation, or whatever it's being called. And that there's been an initial declaration. Now there's been a second declaration. Of course, you say you are going to gazette that officially. And what picture does it then create? If there's any chaos, that means you've washed your hands like Pilate.
I think anyone who will say he doesn't accept what the Electoral Commission has done, the person is assaulting the Constitution of the Republic.
Assaulting the Constitution?
The Constitution of the Republic.
How so?
Because if you don't accept, there is a procedure to follow. And that procedure is to use the court system. Okay. In the Constitution, the only institution mandated to conduct and supervise elections, all public elections and referenda, is the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commission has done its work. The Electoral Commission has sent the writ to Parliament. The Electoral Commission has gazetted the results that these are the names. Mr. Akapo has been elected, and you are saying that you will not accept it. They use the legal process. You can't create any chaos.
In other words, as of now, after these reversals or redeclarations, after the collation, the continuation of collation has been done, if anyone now has an issue, it is those people who have to go to court.
Oh yes,
right?
Yes,
that's what you.
Yes.
That's what
yes.
your position.
So now,
that's what your position is.
Okay. No, that's not what our position. That's what the law's position.
No, I'm
is.
saying that
that's
per your understanding of the law, that is the position.
Oh no, that's not our understanding of the. That's what the law says.
That's what the law says.
The law says.
Okay.
So as we speak now, we have 274 members of Parliament.
Right.
Which the Commission will be gazetting very, very soon.
Okay. All right. So my final bit to you, as you deliver your final comments, when the EC boss delivered the presidential, made the declaration of who had won, she ended by saying it is finished. Now, it is interesting because a lot of political commentators have waded into some of her actions, even in the current processes, that they say, these things are not going well, and that, she ought to be removed. Now, what is your reaction to these calls? Are they out of place? I always mention that the very first interview the EC boss granted was to me when she became EC chair. And I posed the question to her that this is what has happened to Charlotte Osei, and you are coming to replace her. Are you worried that in future this could happen? And she said, she asked for her. She wasn't thinking about those things. But we've come to that point now. A new administration is coming. How do you feel about that situation? What's your reaction? That'll be my final question.
I think, let me take a bite before Dr. Kweku. I think those who talk about removal, the laws, there are laws in this country. And the elections since this new commission took over in 2018, we've had a lot of observers coming, observers domestic as well as international, and the evidence is in the public domain. In terms of quality elections, Ghana is one of the best. I think even in Africa now we are ranked as the topmost, one of the best in it. So when people talk about these things, these people are not the constitution. The laws are there, and there are people who go through this process. So if you ask me candidly, I would say
we've seen one removed on.
But people must
on grounds that many people also found to be somewhat, for lack of a better word, whimsical. Oh
no, I think maybe you have to get the evidence for why some people have been removed, and those evidence should be available in the public domain. And I think that the work this commission has done, if anyone says somewhere that somebody must be removed, the chair, then the person is not really understanding the work that has been done. In terms of even cost, this commission has done a lot. In terms of transparency to the core, this commission has done a lot. Look at the elections that were organized in 2020. Observers gave a complete thumbs up. 2024, if not this latent issues which got all of us rattled, look at how the elections went. In less than 24 hours, somebody had conceded in the presidential. For the first time,
would it be dangerous? Would it be problematic if we had another EC boss removed?
I think that I don't have a problem, but what I'm saying is that let's look at the work, the processes. The processes. You were trying to juxtapose that, somebody was removed in the past, but look at the evidence is there. And this commission, in terms of cost, in 2020, the cost of election was reduced by almost 45%. In 2024, we will come out with the figures, and it may even be far lower than what we did in 2020. Yet we've been able to maintain the standard to the extent that in less than 24 hours, there was a concession at the international community. And you saw the reports from the various international organizations, including even from the U.S. Secretary of State, from the U.S. State Department. So I think a lot of work has been done. So people should look at the real work that has been done, and they should stop about these things. If you have a personal dislike for someone, then you try to catapult that. They shouldn't be saying that. If we want to build a country, let's do it well.
Just to sneak this in, it came to mind. So is the plan that in 2028, without a Ghana card, you'll not be able to go through the processes to get on the voters register?
Commission will engage Parliament on it. Commission will engage. It's the direction the Commission wants to go. We'll engage Parliament on it so that they will put pressure on the executive to ensure that all those who qualify to get the Ghana card, they get it to enhance the credibility of our process. We think is very, very important.
Thank you. Dr. Kweku, final words.
What I would say is that President. Posterity will judge all of us. So in everything that we are doing, we should not be looking at individuals' benefit. by the benefit of everything we put in place to Mother Ghana. So everything that we are doing, is it what we want to be perpetuated? If today it is in my favor, what about the next time the thing that you did which was wrong is now against you? So let us set good standard and precedents so that future elections will follow through. That's what I was saying.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for this exclusive conversation. This has been an exclusive encounter with Deputy EC Chair Dr. Bosman Asari, together with the Director of Training at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribo Kweku. They have been walking us through some of the topical matters, the matters that you and I have been looking at. This has been that conversation on Joy News. My name is Benjamin Akatbo. Thank you for watching.